Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Takeaways from Heat's overtime win over Mavericks, behind another big night from Jimmy Butler. 5 takeaways from the Miami Heat's 123-118 overtime win over the Dallas Mavericks, 9-8, on Sunday night at Kaseya Center to improve to 2-0 on its 3-game homestand. The Heat, 7-7, closes the homestand on Tuesday against the Milwaukee Bucks in its third of 4 group play games as part of the NBA's in-season tournament. After a rare 5-day break between games, the well-rested Heat needed overtime to defeat the Luka Doncic-less Mavericks. But the Heat will take it, moving to .500 this season. Ideally, overtime wouldn't have been needed after the Heat pulled ahead by 10 points with 1:46 left in the third quarter. But the Heat needed some big plays down the stretch just to force overtime, falling behind by 4 with 2:41 remaining in a back-and fourth quarter that included 6 ties. With possession and trailing by 2 points with 5.3 seconds to play, the Heat came out of a timeout and ran the game-saving play to perfection to force overtime. Duncan Robinson, the inbounds passer, found Jimmy Butler cutting into space for a game-tying dunk with 4.3 seconds left in the fourth quarter, as a defensive miscommunication by the Mavericks allowed Butler to streak open for the important basket. It was a similar play to the one that the Heat used to defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minneapolis on November 10, as a defensive miscommunication allowed Nikola Jovic to cut open to the basket for a game-winning and-one layup in the final seconds of fourth quarter. Robinson was the inbounds passer for that play, too. Somebody to get open, Heat coach Erik Spoelstra said of what he was hoping for on Sunday's game-changing side-out-of-bounds play. "These are really tough to get any kind of freedom on side out of bounds. Jimmy made a heck of a cut and Duncan again with a great pass." The Heat complained to the officials after the play, making it known that they felt Butler was also fouled on the game-tying dunk. But no foul was called. "It seemed like it was a foul," Spoelstra said. It didn't matter, though, because the Heat won overtime 9-4 to win the game. The Mavericks went cold in overtime, shooting 2 of 10, 20%, from the field and 0 of 6 from three-point range in the 5-minute period. The leading duo of Bam Adebayo and Butler combined to score 6 of the Heat's first 8 points in overtime. Alec Burks also scored 3 points for the Heat in overtime. With Doncic missing his second straight game because of a sprained right wrist, Kyrie Irving led the Mavericks with 27 points on 9 of 21 shooting from the field and 3 of 12 shooting on 3 Sunday. Dallas struggled to make threes throughout the night, finishing the loss just 10 of 40, 25%, from three-point range. Those shooting struggles allowed the Heat to overcome his own shooting issues on Sunday, as Miami shot only 43% from the field, 14 of 41, 34.1%, on threes and 17 of 27, 63%, from the foul line. Butler finished with a season-high 33 points on 11 of 17 shooting from the field and 11 of 16 shooting from the foul line, to go with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal and 2 blocks in 38 minutes for the Heat. Adebayo added 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists, while matching a career high with 3 made three-pointers and setting a new career high with 6 three-point attempts. Tyler Herro contributed 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Heat. But he shot just 1 of 10 on threes. "It's a big win for us," Herro said. Cavs get 17th win as Celtics edge T-Wolves and Heat burn in OT. Jarrett Allen added 23 points and 13 rebounds for the Cavaliers, who improved to 17-1 on the season, while Grady Dick and Scotty Barnes each scored 18 to lead the Raptors. The Cavaliers began the campaign 15-0 before losing 120-117 at Boston last Tuesday, but Cleveland bounced back to beat New Orleans the next night and stayed hot against Toronto, improving to 10-0 at home. "It's a special place to play and we feel it on the court," Mitchell said. It's always loud when we play. It's always comfortable coming back here and knowing we're going to get a loud ovation every time. At Boston, Jaylen Brown scored 29 points and Jason Tatum added 26 to lead the reigning champion Celtics over the Minnesota Timberwolves 107-105. It was a great effort on both ends of the court, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla said. Great team win. I liked how we constantly interacted with each other. Our defense and physicality and working to get the right shot, I think those were the key to winning. The Celtics improved to 14-3, second only to Cleveland among all NBA clubs, and stretched their win streak to 5 games. Brown made a three-pointer to give the Celtics a 107-102 lead with 1:16 remaining. Julius Randle answered with a layup and free throw, but the T-Wolves, 8-8, couldn't pull level with Boston, 14-3, before the final buzzer. Anthony Edwards had 28 points, 9 rebounds and 7 assists for Minnesota, which also had 23 points from Randle and 20 rebounds by Rudy Gobert. At Miami, Jimmy Butler scored 33 points, grabbed 9 rebounds and passed off 6 assists to lead the Miami Heat over Dallas 123-118 in overtime. Butler's dunk with 4.1 seconds remaining in regulation lifted the Heat level at 114-114 to force overtime. Bam Adebayo hit a three-pointer to put Miami ahead to stay, and Butler added a layup for a 122-118 Heat led with 98 seconds remaining in overtime, and Alec Burks added a final free throw to seal the victory. Heat acquire Kyle Kuzma, part ways with $90 million guard and blockbuster trade idea. The Miami Heat need to continue pondering on their future direction more and more each day until February's trade deadline. If the Heat's front office opts to add additional talent around the big three of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Herro, they must have strong confidence their acquisition can push them over the hump. Butler, coach Erik Spoelstra, and company made the NBA Finals twice since 2020 with more polarizing rosters than their current group. ESPN podcaster Derek Miller of Numbers on the Board proposed for the Heat to land Washington Wizards forward Kyle Kuzma in hopes of increasing their title chances. The potential trade details are as follows: Heat receive, Kuzma. Wizards receive, Duncan Robinson, Josh Richardson, Pelle Larsson, 2030 first-round pick, lottery protected. Miller's co-hosts were convinced the Heat are unwilling to move on from their 2024 draft pick, Larsson, which is quite the surprise. Although Larsson flashed serious potential in his limited playing time, passing on a 20-point-per-game scorer to retain him is bold. Kuzma is averaging 17.4 points and 6.3 rebounds on 42.4% shooting in 9 appearances this season. His decreased stats from last season could potentially lower his trade value, allowing the Heat to capitalize when the time comes. The issue is unless the 29-year-old takes an unexpected leap under Spoelstra, he doesn't vault the Heat among favorites to hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Kyle Kuzma? Leave your opinion in the comments.